is maybe more on the... It's my mother. She has to be answered. Hi, Mom. I'm in a podcast. Hey guys, it's Jordyn, and you're listening to the Jordyn Jones Podcast. On today's episode, we will be talking about meeting your partner's parents for the first time, not being ready to be tied down, and some tips on becoming an influencer. So stay tuned and let's get right on with the episode. So I have a girlfriend, and it's the first one I've ever had. We got together 2 years ago, and sometimes I feel like she's a good lifelong partner. But I always wish I could have dated cute girls and went on dates and showed girls to my parents. I never got that experience. And when I see cute girls in public, I imagine myself dating them. Just today, my brother's girlfriend had her friend over, and her friend was kind of cute, and I wanted to flirt with her. It sucks because I know I'm a good-looking guy, and to be tied down at 20 stresses me out. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that's a crazy confession. Ugh. This just sucks. Sucks to be that girl. 1 second you think she's a good lifelong partner, and the next you imagine yourself dating other girls you see in public. I kind of think you're a little crazy. I feel like having that thought in your mind is probably normal for people in your position. You know, I'm in a relationship. I never got to experience that. But then imagining it and wanting to flirt with people to see how it feels is kind of messed up and weird. You're not ready for a real relationship, and you're really immature and young. A lot of people want what you have. You have a lifelong partner. You've been with a girl for 2 years. It seems like maybe you're just a little bored in your relationship. That's why you want attention or seeking it or imagining it. If you did act on something, you'll regret it. Maybe it's just like different from like a girl's perspective. A guy would probably be like, oh yeah, I know exactly how you feel, dude. Oh my God, I'm right in that boat. Why are we in a relationship? Let's go to the club. We're 20. Let's go ham. Like, we can bring back 3 girls tonight. And my mentality is like, I'm in love. Why would I want to seek anything else? Because I feel like I'll just regret it. Yeah, I feel like it's just different for a girl to be giving you advice on this than a guy. But I just think it's a little crazy, and it's just an immature mindset. And I think that you should really take a step back and grow up, dude. It stresses you out to be tied down at 20. Are you crazy? If you stop dating this girl and then you go have your little hoe phase and you go out every night, in 5 years or 3 years or 1 year or 2 weeks, you're going to be like, damn, where's the love of my life? Where did she go? How did she get away? Damn, that girl was the best thing I ever had. How did I lose that? So yeah, just think a little bit. And everyone has that mindset when they're like 18, 19, 20. And then you get to 23. I'm so old and I'm so mature. You can still have fun in a relationship. It's not like you're missing out on life. I just would prefer to be in a relationship and go home on a Friday night and be with my boyfriend than at any party. So call me crazy, but I think that that is way more of a fulfilling life than a couple hours at a club or a hookup. If you would rather be at a party and with a bunch of people and girls and that, then just don't be in a relationship and break up with her. Hi, Queen. What are your top 5 makeup must-haves? Wow, in the last episode, we did skincare, so this is kind of funny. Okay, first, I kind of only do have like 5 steps in my makeup routine, so I can kind of list all of them for you. Number 1, I love my bronzing drops by Drunk Elephant. I mix that with my moisturizer, and it's kind of my base layer with or without makeup. So love that stuff. Number 2 would be my Glossier skin tint. I usually have like 2 or 3 colors I kind of mix. That really helps the natural look. My skin is just never like, it's just never the same color. Forehead is different, under eyes are different. So I kind of just blend a couple shades. So that's number 2. I love I'm gonna put this in one. My Charlotte Tilbury bronzing stick and my blush stick. I think it's called the Hollywood Contour Wand, to be specific. I think I use the color Glowgasm for my blush. I will use that stuff when I have no makeup. I'll just put on a little bit of blush and I'm just like, oh, it's like so bright and blushy and cute, and I love that. Number 4, I'm obsessed with this new mascara I found. I've maybe started using it the past 6 months to a year, and that's like nothing in mascara world. I've been doing mascara since I was like 4. It's a tube mascara. I think it's the brand Thrive Cosmetics. It's blue and maybe silver or gold. I think silver. It's not waterproof, which I like because to take my makeup off, I literally just put a little bit of water and like do circles, and it kind of is like fibers. It just comes off, and you don't have to wipe it down with all these makeup wipes and oils and all this stuff to get your makeup off. I think it's so much easier, so I love that stuff. Okay, number 5, this would be more so of a shade and way of putting this on my face than an actual product, because that part doesn't really matter. I have greenish, goldish eyes, basically hazel, and I love putting a dark brown, almost orangey color of eyeshadow on my eyelid and under my eyes. And I kind of go a little further down with it, not like bags under my eyes, but I like that it does give a shadow smoky eye effect, and it really brings out my eyes when I do that. So the palette I do use for that is from Charlotte Tilbury, and it's a little 4-pack. But I also love the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia. I love that palette. I think it has such good bronzy colors in it, really warm tones. That's what I like, and that's what looks really good on my eyes. So those would be my 5 makeup tips and products for you. What advice would you give someone starting out and wanting to become an influencer? Wow, good question. I have been doing social media since I was 15 years old. I was one of the first 20 people to have 1 million followers on Instagram. And that's crazy to think of now because social media is so big and it is so hard to stay consistent, to stay relevant, to find your niche, to grow your audience. So I'm going to give you guys some tips. Not like I'm a professional, and obviously I have gone up and down in the relevancy world for the past almost 10 years. So here's some of my tips if you are wanting to start out and become an influencer. Number 1, obviously, is consistency. It's so easy to say, but it's actually hard. It's even hard for me. I'll have a plan. I'll be like, okay, at least post once a day on Instagram. I did that for about 7-8 years. Sometimes I would even post 4 times a day. And that was when I was in my peak. I heard this tip from a publicist. If you're not annoying people with your face, you're not doing your job. And that's really hard for me because I'm an influencer, but I don't really like to overwhelm and overdo it, be in everyone's face and post constantly and do collabs with everyone. But that is what works. I've never been much of a collab person, but that's probably the second biggest tip I could tell you. When you're starting out, even if it's just friends in your videos and your friends tag you, you have different audiences, that is how you grow. I've never really liked this because it makes me feel like I'm using people, but it really is kind of just work and it's kind of an understanding with people. I know a lot of these houses in LA, it's just like they're okay with that. And it's not a bad thing to be constantly posting someone and tagging someone and wanting to make videos. It's just like a mutual understanding that, hey, I need you, you need me, we can make content. We kind of need that. So that's why I've never really done collabs. I just feel like people are using me. I'm only hitting them up to get views. So that's something I've never really done. I've done 3-4 collabs, but if you go to any meeting with any of these apps, they will literally tell you, you have to collab. That is how you grow your audience and that is how you will get views. It works for a lot of people. But number 3, a long time ago, it would be the camera you're using and it would be, I don't have these lights. But nowadays, it's literally just an iPhone. Have an iPhone. Literally any phone camera works. You don't need anything crazy anymore nowadays. But I will give an TikTok tip. People have always talked about this, but there's like a millennial pause and like the Gen Z shake on TikTok. So if you really want to engage your audience, the best tip is to shake the camera slightly or kind of start out with like a exaggerated, oh my gosh. It's kind of, you have to get the attention to people. And so if you start off, if you go, hey guys, so today, it's like, it's not as engaging and entertaining, and it can't just reel you in the first second. That's what's the most important on TikTok. You have to just have something crazy and fun and interesting from the start, or else people will easily swipe past. So that whole like shake thing and just having an iPhone is totally a-okay nowadays. And my last tip, do not let anyone try to get in your head or stop you. Don't let the school bullies take you down. If you want to be an influencer, you have to have your camera out, you have to post, you have to take pictures, you have to take videos, you have to answer people back in comments. Like, you constantly just have to be on. There's really no 9 to 5 with this. But I would just say, I just remember when I was starting out and I would just have friends be so jealous. That's like the last thing I would want to say is, don't let anyone try to use you. Don't let anyone try to stop you. That's all I have to say for this one. So I'm meeting my partner's parents for the first time and I'm super nervous. Any advice? Oh my gosh, I was so nervous when I met my boyfriend's mom, but also his dad, because it was, I think, like 3 or 4 months after. Oh my gosh. He was about to go on a trip and I was in the area. And so he was like, oh, come in jacuzzi. I was with one of his friends. So he was like, oh, you both come. It wasn't like a plan, and it wasn't anything like serious or, come have dinner with my family. I feel like I would have been like so nervous, but it was definitely more casual. I was coming with a friend and we were only there for like an hour or something. It was more so I was going to hang out with him. So I was definitely like less nervous, but it was still like, I really liked him. I mean, I wanted to date him. So I was just nervous because I wanted to make a good impression and look good and be nice and be myself. So it was definitely a more relaxed first introduction with her, but his dad, I was really, really nervous. I don't even think he really knew. I honestly put so much pressure on myself. I don't even think I could like go to the bathroom for a couple days. I was so nervous because I knew it was like coming. Whatever. I was just like, okay, let me just be myself. Let me be like nice. And it's just hard because I didn't really know much about him. It was hard for me to kind of know what to say and what to ask and talk about. And what I do is definitely different. So I always get like nervous because, oh, well, like, what does she do? Does she go to college? I'm just like, oh, like, I just hate that because it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna be myself. I love what I do. I love my life. So hopefully they'll accept me. And of course they do. I would also just talk to your partner because I didn't really do that. And they'll obviously make you feel comfortable and be like, what the heck? Like, why are you so nervous for? Like, they're so chill. Or if they're not and he's like, oh, they're so strict and don't say this and don't do that. Still be yourself, but maybe just very classy. It's hard. And it's hard meeting the parents, but I feel like nothing will really go wrong. You're stressing out a little bit too much and everything will be okay. Just be your best self, be happy, and I would say always give hugs. I feel like it's a little bit different. A lot of people would want to do like a handshake for the first time, but I just want to give them a hug and everything will be okay. No need to stress out that much. Hi, Jordyn. My mother struggles with alcohol abuse. I'm 21 and I don't live in the same house as her anymore, but it makes me so sad. I don't know if I can help or what I should do. Do you have any advice? This one is really, really sad. You constantly worry and stress out and have anxiety. And if you don't have other people around you or distractions or anything like that, I feel like a therapist that specializes in stuff like this will really help because you really can't control someone, and no matter how much your mother loves you or your father cares about you, it kind of is just like an addiction thing that has nothing to do with you. And no matter how hard that they try, sometimes they can't get through it. They need your support, and it's really hard to not judge people for this, but My advice is to look into getting a therapist or just talking to someone who has gone through this. They'll have some pretty good advice. So in my experience, whenever I would kind of bring up how, oh, maybe you shouldn't drink tonight, it really bothers me when you do this, and maybe you should stop drinking. If you love me, you'll do this. None of that works. If they want to stop, they will. Maybe you can try to convince your mom to go to AA. Maybe you could go home for a little bit since you don't live in the same house. Like maybe you could go help her, but at the same time, if it's like a bad environment for you, try to stay out of it. But she just needs your support. It's something that she's struggling with and probably doesn't want to be. So your support and understanding will go a long way. But if you are struggling and it's hard for you, I would definitely just say maybe seek a therapist. Try to heal yourself from it. I don't know, it's a really hard one, but I hope you guys get through this, and yeah, everything will be okay. I'm moving to LA at the beginning of next year. Can you please give me some advice about adjusting to the culture in LA and recommendations for your favorite restaurants and things to do? Okay, I have touched on this a little bit, but this one is a little bit more in depth. Well, I would say what areas are good to move into. I love West Hollywood. It is maybe more on the... It's my mother. She has to be answered. Hi, Mom. I'm in a podcast. Where was I? Okay, oh yeah, where the places to move to. Okay. So I love West Hollywood, but it is a little bit expensive. And when I first moved to California, I was in Studio City and North Hollywood, which are great areas and less expensive. I also love Valley Village and Woodland Hills. Those are probably like the top best areas to live in. If you love walking, it is good to live next to grocery stores, maybe hiking places. There is so much to do here. It's actually crazy because I kind of don't do all the things that I should be doing. There's museums. Like my boyfriend would take me to all the museums. I've been to like all of them. The Getty Villa, the Getty Center, National History Museum, Butterfly Museum, the Science Center, the Broad or the Broad, however you say that. And we are going to go to another exhibit soon that ends in January. So I'd say like museums are definitely a good way to get out of LA kind of vibe. Like it doesn't feel like, especially at the Getty Center, the Getty Villa, those are two great places to go. But hiking, there's so many good places like Runyon Canyon's probably one of the most viral places. There's also some good ones in Malibu. I haven't done a lot of those. But if you spend a day in Malibu, I would say like the Country Mart is super fun. Nobu Malibu. Paradise Cove is a pretty good one. The Carbon Beach Club. It's like the Malibu Beach Inn, but they have like a restaurant. I would always go there for my birthday with my friend Lily, and we'd go there on her birthday. I mean, I know we have good nightlife. I've only been to like 2 of the clubs, but we have like Poppy, Nightingale, Doheny Room, Delilah, and like Bootsy Bellows. So there's some good nightlife out here for sure. Guys, for some reason, I've gone to so many of the most popular restaurants in LA, and I've barely heard of my favorite restaurant. I, for some reason, cannot stop thinking about it. It's called Hudson House. It's on Sunset Boulevard. It is so good. I had like the best dinner of my life. I don't know if I was super hungry or something. Oh my gosh, the chicken parmesan and spicy fusilli there was so good. I also love this restaurant called Maro Cafe. I barely talk about it. It's kind of like my little secret. It's so good. It's Italian. And I would say another fun thing to do is also just go to the different malls. Like they're in good areas, and I love the Century City Mall. It's very pretty. It's outdoor. There is so many restaurants there. You could easily spend 3 days there. I mean, with the different restaurants and shops. It is such a good mall, and I love that area. Then there's like the Topanga Mall, which is further away, but I remember going there growing up. I don't know if it's like the same. I hear it's not. There's like the Grove. There's the Galleria. Rick Caruso has so many of these buildings and shopping centers, good areas. There's the Pacific Palisades with like Air One. But yeah, shopping centers, hikes, museums, and food and good areas to live in. I kind of feel like I nailed it. So that wraps up the episode. So thank you guys for watching and listening to this episode. If you want to send in your questions or confessions, you guys always can to Jordyn@strawhutmedia.com. And I'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Bye!
You've been listening to the Jordyn Jones Podcast. Jordyn's passion is to inspire, relate, and give you that much-needed one-hour escape from life's everyday struggles. Your family, and we're so glad you're here. Make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Jordyn Jones. Jordyn. This production is brought to you by Straw Hut Media, hosted by Jordyn Jones, produced by Ryan Tillotson, edited by Daniel Ferreira. Additional production help by Carolyn Mendoza, Ali Ahmed, and Samir Gonchi. Keep shining bright like the diamond you are, and see you next time on the Jordyn Jones Podcast.